Hey guys, I'm doing a very specific video here today, how to score more D2Ds in HUT. One thing I'm going to focus on here is X Factor abilities. As the game came out, first couple months, I thought D2Ds were useless, but as more cards are coming out with certain abilities, especially on defense, and as accuracy and power is starting to get boosted up, D2Ds are starting to go in a little bit more. So right now, the main card to use, which it's kind of funny because like I'm saying, like you need one card to score them with, is the Victor Hedman Team of the Year card. As cards come out, more cards will be useful for this, but right now, he, I think, is the only defenseman with 1T and Seeing Eye in his superstar ability slot. So with the way these work together, and I got a little explanation from Ben Ross, right, with the X Factor abilities. They're able to stack depending on what they impact, right? So as we can see here, 1T, advanced power and accuracy on one-timers, increased ability to one-timer, or increased ability to one-timers from less than ideal passes, right? And then Seeing Eyes, advanced accuracy on shots when the goalie's screened. And then a goalie's reaction time is also reduced with shooting with this ability, right? So both of these abilities impact accuracy. So in a situation where a goalie is screened and you're taking a one-timer, the accuracy bonus is only going to be applied from one of these, whichever is higher. I'm assuming the one-timer accuracy bonus might be a little bit higher considering it's worth more AP points. But goalie screen, you have an increase in accuracy, you have an increase in power. The goalie's reaction time will be delayed. So you're getting multiple bonuses out of having 9 points to this, right? So this is very effective, and I've learned that this works together. Whenever I was just using 1T itself, I wasn't getting as many goals. So I'm going to go into my defensive sliders before I get into specific clips to show you when to take the shots. So the sliders I use on offense and defense, surprisingly, it is important what you have on offense, right? So in order to actually score D2Ds with behind the net strategy, you're going to need your cycle and shoot slider up a lot, like between like 6 and 10. This causes your players to move around a little bit more to generate traffic in front of the net. I also have my energy up just so they're skating a little bit more as well. Because whenever you use behind the net, if you don't have these sliders up, you're not going to have screens in front of the net, right? So if you're using crash the net, there isn't really the need to have the shoot slider that high up just because the strategy, basically like the strategy formation, right, is in front of the net anyway. But with behind the net, you are going to need those sliders up a little bit. And then on defense, I have my hold line pinch at 1, and then I have cycle shoot at 2. The main reason for this is they tend to stay in their position at the blue line more. Whenever you have it higher, they tend to move around a little bit more, like I just mentioned on offense, right? So I want them in position. The other added benefit of this is that, and it's something I've been complaining about a little bit on Twitter because I don't know how realistic or good it is for the game. Whenever your defensemen skate less, they don't use any energy, right? So if you're somebody that has the puck in the offensive zone and you have like 10 plus minutes time on attack a game, you can have your first pairing out there for 45, 50 minutes a game, and they're going to be green most of the time, right? So having these sliders a little bit lower, they're in position, and then they're also going to be out there on the ice for more of the game. So with that out of the way, I'm going to get into some of the clips. So as we go through some of these, you'll notice like I'm only taking D2Ds with a left-handed shot at the blue line. The reason for that is that they tend to go in on the blocker way more than the glove side. Even if it's not like a clean shot necessarily, it tends to bounce off the blocker more. Glove side, they're going to catch it. So I've used Shea Weber, the 94 overall Shea Weber. I've had 1T activated. It doesn't tend to matter. Either way, the goalie's saving it. But with a left-handed shot, even if it's not the Hedman that I'm using here with one-timer and Seeing Eye, or 1T and Seeing Eye, they still go in, right? So like the Gonchar, the 94 Team Builder Gonchar, those go in. The 92 Bowen Byram, cards like that, they still work. So this first clip and then a couple others that I'll show, some of the best times to take a D2D is right off the zone entry. The reason being, on the back check, the defense tends to move around more, right? So they're not getting set up in whether it's like collapsing and protect net or like contain puck. They're still on the move a little bit. So I tend to like enter the zone on the wing, pass it back to the defense, go to the other defenseman for the one-timer. This works a lot. Like I said, it's just because the defense is already on the move, right? They're moving around. And then the goal here, right? You see that 1T was active on that shot. And then you can also see the goalie's delayed reaction, right? So like right here coming up, he's late to react. That's the seeing eye taking effect as well, right? Delayed reaction in the goalie's time. As more cards come out throughout the year, right? We're in a spot where there's only one card with this, Hedman. There's going to be a lot more coming out. There are a lot more defensemen with both of these abilities. I also am thinking that the right-handed shots will open up more. So we're going to look at a few more here. This clip here, very similar to the first one, right? Zone entry, cut to the corner, simple D to D, right? Very simple. Like I mentioned, defense is already on the back check. They tend to move around a little bit more. They're not set up yet. And so once again, you see seeing eye, although it's not highlighted in that, AR, I guess, presentation, they have 1T is the one listed. The goalie's getting that penalty because seeing eye is active as well, right? Super late to react, another easy goal. And once again, as more defensemen start to have both of these abilities together, it's worth it to spend those AP points, right? Whenever you think about it like this, to where if your first pairing's out there for 40 minutes a game, it's not bad to allocate 20 to 40% of your ability points to that pairing because they're already out there for the majority of the game. One of the things I recommend that I've started doing recently is only using AP points on the first pairing of defense and HUT and not the second and third, just because the first pairing's literally out there more than half the game. This goal here might actually be like the most valuable information in this video. And the reason being is it's like a very simple concept, but it's not something that a lot of people do enough. And that's going back to the defenseman you pass it from, right, for the one-timer. So D to D to D. So the reason it's so effective is that depending on where the puck is in the offensive zone is where your offensive strategy, your players will set up, right? So once the puck crosses the middle of the ice, they're going to go to the other side of the ice, right, to set up the offensive, whether you use overload, behind the net, crash the net, they're going to go set up on that other side instead, right? So once the puck crosses the middle of the ice, in this scenario, the offensive players are shifting to the left side. Once you make that fast pass right back, it's going to catch the offensive players kind of in the middle there to where they're crowding, higher chance of a goalie screen, right? More congestion in front of the net. So once you make that pass back, it kind of conglomerates, I'm using a big word here, conglomerates all those players in the middle of the ice. So this goal, although it wasn't a one-timer, the players were in the middle of the ice blocking the goalie's field of view, and the puck somehow went in, right? It was like a very, I don't want to say lucky goal, just because I knew what I was doing there, but it's one of those goals where if it happens to you, you get frustrated, you think it's a lucky goal. And then you can see here, towards the end of the goal, seeing eyes activated, goalie's delayed reaction. That goal might not happen without seeing eye activated, but there's still a chance it does just due to the fact that I'm doing that D to D to D pass. I always like showing similar clips in these videos just to show similar process, slightly different end result. So this clip, same exact thing as the last one, D to D to D, and then similar to the first two, right, off of a zone entry. So once again, no real point in taking that D to D shot with a right-handed shot in NHL 22 as of this moment. Some things might change in the future depending on patches or abilities on players. But right now we can see, right, D to D to D. Pay attention to number 12 in this play. It keeps him in the middle and it freezes him there, right? So he acts almost as a screen, and there's also that option to where if he did get his stick on that puck, easy deflection, right? So 1T ability, seeing eye, goalie's delayed reaction, it's an easy goal. So right now, as I've mentioned before in this video, Hedman's the only defenseman with this. It doesn't necessarily mean they're worthless, right? Because it works the same way. Like I've Gonchar on my team, works similar to him, where only take that shot with the left-handed shot at the blue line, use those D to D to Ds to get that extra traffic in front of the net. And then as HUT progresses throughout this year, there's going to be more players with these abilities, right? And not everybody's going to be using these two X factors together just because it takes 9 points. So there's not going to be a lot of people using this, and I think it's probably the best way to generate offense from the point. Pay attention as cards come out, specifically the HUT Champs cards. Sometimes those have more interesting X factor combinations to where not a lot of people are getting them. And there are some good players that, although they might cost a lot, I can kind of think that they're going to start releasing some more of these defensemen with both of these abilities on the card. So as always, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something today. If not, I'm doing something wrong. So have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the Discord or on the podcast. Have a good one.